There is a house in New Orleans. Join me as we go back to 1927 for a horrific crime that happened in the Crescent City. That house is 715 Ursuline Avenue to be exact. That's the location of a horrific crime that took place. Henry and Therese Moity resided at this location with Henry's brother Joseph and his wife Leonide. Between the two couples, they had 5 children. The apartment was a 1,000-square-foot squalid affair with very little furniture. It was overcrowded, nonetheless, to be sure. The couple and their children had moved to New Orleans from New Iberia looking for employment and a better life. However, they only found mostly odd jobs. Funds were always scarce and the essentials often lacking. Things were at a flashpoint that day in 1927. Teresa had suddenly begun making $5 here and there. When Henry asked where the money came from, Teresa intimated the money came from men who she was flirting, carousing with. Henry, jealous by nature, began seeing every man as a threat, but said he would trust and forgive her if she'd just be a good wife. But things did not improve in the 1,000-square-foot apartment. He often came home to find the kids filthy, the apartment a mess, and no dinner on the table. Henry said he forgave his wife many times, and she still strayed. Joseph did not give his wife Leonide the same chances. He left her and their 2 children when he found her cheating once again. The ladies, too, decided to leave the apartment on Ursuline. Henry came home one night after looking for work all day to find the 2 of them packing up to move out. They said they were going to set up a shop. Henry believed they meant they were becoming prostitutes. Henry was so enraged, heartbroken, and ashamed, he stumbled into a speakeasy and began drinking. Before leaving the speakeasy, he purchased a sugar machete from the barkeep. New Orleans has always been a surreal place, it seems. He returned to the apartment to find Teresa and Leonide were asleep with their trunks packed beside them. He realized the women were serious in their intent to leave and become ladies of ill repute. He began swinging the sugar machete. He hit Leonide first. She never woke up. Teresa, hearing the noise, awoke and put up a fight. She was no match for her husband or the machete. Realizing what he had done, Henry decided he needed to hide the bodies. He began dismembering the women so they'd fit in the trunks. Henry later told a reporter they fit nicely. However, Teresa's wedding ring was pushed into a gap in her back. Blood, fingers, and teeth covered the room. Henry grabbed his kids and took them to go live with his sister. Then he ran into the swamps. 48 hours after the murders, Henry tried to board a small freight boat in the bayou Lafourche called the Gem. The crew was on the lookout as the news of the murders had gone national. They let him aboard, looked for his identifying naked woman tattoo, and waited. Once they did verify he had the tattoo and he was the murderer, they held him and waited for the police to come and get him. Henry had many excuses as to why he was not responsible for the murders. The first was the story of a Norwegian sailor who made Henry watch as he killed the 2 women. That convinced no one. He then pled insanity, saying whiskey and the cruelties of the women he lived with drove him insane. The all-male jury decided to split the verdict, guilty with no capital punishment. The prosecution had been looking for the death penalty. His lifetime sentence of hard labor at Angola became 20 when he was released in 1948. 8 years later, after his release, he shot his new lover in the chest twice in a fight over, guess what? Money. He was returned to Angola, his lover survived, and there is no record of Henry's death. But I'm sure he regrets everything he did. I'd like to thank Soapboxy.com, Atlas Obscura, and the Historical New Orleans Collection for the photos and information that I've shared with you in this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. And next time, I'm going to tackle the sausage murders of 1880, which is probably a myth. However, I do think that Lyle Saxon and Gumbo Yaya probably got a lot of that inspiration from this murder. So we'll delve deep into that, back into the past, and the amazing Crescent City. Thanks for joining me, and I hope y'all all have a beautiful day, evening, week, night, wherever you are. Goodbye.